Hello, people. I want to talk about guns. I figured this would be a good topic. Um, I don't really have a gun collection anymore. I have guns that fulfill needs, and that wasn't always the case. Before, I just owned shit just to own it because I thought it was cool. The only thing I have like that right now is you could make a pretty solid argument for most of my rifles, really, but like my 22 rifle really doesn't have a purpose. It's a range toy, survival rifle kind of thing. I don't really need it. I could totally sell that gun, but I never will because it's cheap and it's cool and I like it. AR-15 wise, which just FYI, I've decided that 5.56 and the AR-15 is the rifle. That's what I have. That's what I'm going with. I'd like to get something bigger. We'll talk about that in a minute, but for now, my rifle systems are two AR-15s. One has a scope, one has a red dot. One is kind of like a hunting rifle. It's set up kind of like a Vietnam M16 carbine kind of thing with a scope. And the other one is vertical grip, red dot, jungle mags. And the thought on that one is if I was going to throw a gun to someone else, it has ammunition on it. It is ready to go. It's pretty user friendly. And for a home defense gun, I think it's pretty viable. The other rifle is kind of more of a shit hits the fan survival AR-15 kind of a thing, and I want a scope. Um, Also, we got the Flex Raider, and it has a red dot and flashlight too. So it and the AR-15 are kind of home defense guns. Then the 22, like I said, is kind of a survival rifle, and I'm wanting to get a single shot H&R 12 gauge to go with that as a survival shotgun too. That would just be a for fun thing that doesn't really have any purpose really, but I have the chance to get it and I'm going to. I need to set that money aside and go do that for my buddy Blazer though. Um, at the moment, I'm kind of pissing away some money on pocket knives because I, I I sold off most of my collection, and I've done this a lot of times with a lot of different collections where like I decide to switch hobbies basically, and I get out of something mostly because I'll have more money to throw at something else. And like guns and knives were always there, no matter what. And they really got trimmed down hard for knife making. And my guns have pretty well bounced back, especially if I get that single shot shotgun and get a few other guns, we'll be good. I've got two handguns right now, other than the Flex Raider and a black powder pistol too. And I'd like to get another couple of handguns and a pump action shotgun with multiple barrels and some sort of a lever action. I think, like I don't know, if I could find a good deal on a 1903 Springfield, I'd get that. But I want some sort of rifle that would be like a hunting rifle, and like if I could get a 30-30 lever action, I might just get me one of them. Those are kind of my guns to get. As far as pistols that are on my like list of stuff to get, I'd like a single action Army 45 Colt. And I'd like a Beretta. And my reasoning on that is I have the black powder pistol. I have my modern 1911, so maybe a World War II era 1911 too. And I have that Flex Raider. I'd kind of like the guns that go in between there. And like, if I got a World War II era 1911, something like a Rock Island probably, I can get one of those and dress it up. Either that or find a, what are those called? The SDS Imports Turkish ones. I'd take one of them. We get that, and then get a Beretta 92 and a Colt Peacemaker that is one of the Army models. And I'd kind of have like this progression of U.S. military guns from like the Civil War to current shit with the 320. Be pretty dope. I think that would be a way to add a few more cool handguns and have different handguns and have kind of a goal in mind, but not, get too carried away with it. And I would get all the bases I want covered. The other thing I'm kind of thinking about is my uncle has a 4-inch Victory model in a leather holster from World War II. I think I might get that. So that might figure into my gun plans. But I don't really need a 38 Special. But I do really kind of want something like that, a World War II gun. And that certainly is one. I always liked those Smith & Wesson 38s. They saw a lot of service in World War II and Vietnam. Like, people forget about that. And this is where, like, if I could get that as one of my guns and get a 1903 Springfield as my hunting rifle, that'd be dope. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think I'm probably going to end up getting a lever action. I might just see what full power military rifle I can find cheap. There are some, still a couple $100s at the gun show. That might be a cool project. I'm going to go find, like, something, an 8mm Mauser that at least shoots to point of aim. Hopefully. Or something. I don't know. I thought I found a deal on a Sporterized Mosin Nagant, but it said $400 and it showed a Sporterized Mosin Nagant and like 800 rounds of ammo. And I was thinking, well, fuck yeah, I'll do that. The gun, most people would figure is kind of worthless, so, that might be right or whatever. No, the ammo was, $800 or something like that. The gun was $400. Like, it was crazy. Welcome to Mosins now. This is why I'm going to be looking at a Mauser, probably. I'd like to get an old school kind of rifle. If I could get a 98 Mauser of some sort, that'd be cool. Get a 8mm Czech or Serbian Mauser, maybe. I like those. Those used to be cheap. I don't know what they would be now. Fucking prices on everything are fucked up. It's really to the point where, like, I have the pump shotgun that I kind of have in mind that I want to find. Single shot shotgun, I pretty much know what I'm going to get. Pistol wise, I just kind of discussed what I'll be looking for at gun shows over the next 20 years. And then there's the rifle. I really don't know what to do on it. And like, this is where if we shop wisely, we might be able to get a few things. Because, like, let's say I save up $1,000 for a hunting rifle. With my taste in rifles, that could maybe buy me 3. Buy some really, really cheap $200 thing, and then have a couple $400 to spend on a good Mauser and a good 30-30. Those are guns that should still be cheap. There were a whole bunch of, like, Marlin 30-30s made. I think that's what I'm going to look for. Get like a Marlin 336W. Something like that. And then I don't know. past that, like I said, it would really depend on what rifle I ran into at the gun show, basically. Also thinking about looking through my uncle's rifles because he's going to be selling off some stuff or whatever too. I might grab a couple things out of there. If I could get a hunting rifle and shotgun that were his or my grandpa's or something, that'd be kind of cool. I'm not really that sentimental about guns because, like, to me, guns are money to such an extent that I'm not very sentimental about any of them. I decided to pick one gun that I would get sentimental about, and that's the gun I engraved shit into steel on. I guess to some extent, there's a couple more joining that probably. Like, if I've heavily modified a gun, I'm kind of married to it, and that's this 1911. With the engraving I did on the side of it, this thing is mine, and I pretty much decided that I wanted a 1911. I decided that I wanted a Remington 1911 in, black. And I was debating which size. And the Commander is the size that I happened upon. And I like it. I've always liked the Commanders. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Those are the two length of slides that I like on 1911s are the Commander length slide and the full size GI slide. So I really didn't care which I got, and I got a good deal on the Commander. I'm willing to be married to that gun. I don't really want to be married to, oh, this was the first 22 your grandpappy ever gave you. Dur, dur, dur. When it's not even something you like shooting remotely, and like you're living kind of a rough and tumble life, and you're having to drag your shit with you. Like, my gun collection fits in a bag. I got a 3-gun rifle case that holds my AR-15s, and the 22 came with a takedown case for it, and then the PDW Fluxrator as a laptop case, and then all the pistols could be put on the front of the AR-15 bag, and the cases for the Fluxrator and the 22 could be put inside the rifle bag too. So, like, when you're done, you have like one like guitar case sized thing of guns. I think it's an efficient way to go. I've owned all sorts of different fucking guns, different amounts of guns, different sizes of guns. I like what I do now. What I do now is I have a couple of very light AR-15s, a super lightweight 22 takedown, and then that Fluxrator it's light for a submachine gun, but it's kind of heavy, and a couple of pistols. And I can put all of that in that bag and carry that out to my car and back, no problems. It's not a billion fucking trips or whatever. And, that's something that you don't understand is a range trip for me used to involve bringing a Browning automatic rifle and an RPD and all of the equipment for them and other guns. So, I like what I do now. If I could get an SKS as a hunting rifle, that would be pretty cool, but I'm worried about being cut off from ammo on that. It would kind of fit my theme or whatever, but like a 30-30 would fit the cowboy vibe too. So I don't know. I'd really love to get like a Henry probably in a pistol caliber. Match it to whatever revolver I get. I'd really love an 1873 Winchester, but those are kind of expensive and harder to find. I had an 1866 and an 1873. I regret selling both of those. I regret selling all of the cowboy guns I ever sold because I never really got much money for them. It was one of those like, we have to sell this to do other things that we want to do because cowboy guns in reality aren't that important. That's the heartbreaker about cowboy guns. That's why I picked one cowboy gun and I made it mine. And that's that black powder revolver, which, to be honest, I think is kind of bitching. Like, if you're gonna pick one to have just one cowboy gun, having a black powder cap and ball revolver and all the shit to do it and knowing how to do it, that's bitching. Okay. For my next cowboy gun, I'd like to get a Colt single action army of some sort. And like I said, that Smith and Wesson Victory model, it's not really a cowboy gun, but it's a revolver, so it's kind of in that same. It's in that same vein, you know. There's other guns I'd like to get. I almost traded my car for a Colt Detective Special. There's not many guns I would trade my black car MK9 for, but it was a Gen 3 Colt Detective Special, and I don't know, I like the look of it. I'm more of a Gen 2 Colt Detective Special person, in case you're wondering. Go look up the differences between those. But if I could trade a car for a Colt, I'm going to do that. And I think even even the most diehard of car fans would agree with me on that one. Especially because like I have $400 in that car. So if I could trade it straight up for a fucking Colt of any kind, that's doing good. I'd really like to get a couple more Colts, some kind. And like the thing is, right now, people would say I don't have any Colts because my 1911 is made by Remington, and my black powder revolver is made by Pieta. But in my mind, those are classic Colt designed guns. That it so happens that Remington makes the best version of a 1911 right now in my mind, and I think Pieta makes a really cheap, really good version of what I wanted. I don't know if it's the gun for everybody. Ugh, black powder revolvers are so like personalized. You know, there's a billion different options, and everybody has in mind what they want. I wanted a pretty compact gun that was 44 caliber, that was still a long enough barrel to put a man down or a horse down, even maybe, and long enough on the barrel that it had a load lever long enough to actually load the fucking gun. Like the one I have has a short load lever, but you can do it, especially if you bring an assist or something like that along, a piece of pipe or something. I think that's, a consideration worth noting. There are other guns that are smaller and lighter that would be other options. I got the Colt Navy 44 uh, thing that is a sheriff's model, and it has a U.S. Marshals engraving package on it. You can find these from Pieta. If you Google Pieta U.S. Marshals Colt Navy, that this will be the gun that comes up. The engraving, I am neutral on, really. I like the gun with or without it. I will take free engraving, which is basically what it was. And I cold blued the whole thing and kind of made it look like shit. So like it looks like it used to be a really cool gun. I think that's pretty bitchin'. I think it's more bitchin' than what it was. That revolver now kind of looks like Ghost Rider held it for 5 minutes. I think that's pretty badass. I kind of want that thing to be like my werewolf vampire hunting gun. And like, it's kind of like I bought a sword here recently. I decided what sword I wanted. I decided what black powder revolver I wanted. These are like tools slash toys that I want. They're pretty much unnecessary, but I like them. And the other guns, I kind of think are going to be illegal here pretty soon. And that's sort of why my pistols are kind of aimed with being always legal and what I think I like and need. I like steel frame guns and I like single stack guns. If I could trade my car for something more interesting, I might do that. But I have a full setup for that. Oh. So I probably won't do that. I'm more apt to get a set of wood grips for it and start customizing it more. That'll make me more apt to keep it. But I want to shoot it before I do that. And my 1911's staying. I think for a sidearm, even in the 21st century, 8 rounds of 45 is enough for me for most situations. If it's not, that's what the Fluxtrator exists for. I think we've talked about this whole gun thing about a billion times, but I was bored and I wanted to talk about guns. I don't know what else I would get other than that. Like capability wise, I need shotguns, and that's next on my list. Capability wise, I could use something that shoots 38 and 45 Colt. And once I get those, I might get adapters to shoot the single shot shotgun with them too. I hate to get another cowboy revolver because it's so much work. Unless I just buy one and leave it alone, but I doubt I can do that. My uncle's been wanting to go to the range lately. I should go to the range and shoot my pistols. I told him the main one I wanted to shoot was my black powder revolver, and he's wanting to go to an indoor range. Oh no, I could bring the Fluxtrator and the car in the 1911 and have a lot of fun. Maybe bring my 22 also. Not even waste any of my precious 5.56. That's kind of the thing is right now ammo's precious on everything. Like I would like to buy a bunch of ammo right now, and you could say, oh, buy that instead of pocket knives. I think that they're kind of equally important, believe it or not. And it's not that if you have a whole bunch of pocket knives, it's not that important. I hadn't bought a new pocket knife in 5 years, and it's kind of my thing. So I'm gonna get some new knives from before the world ends. And gun wise, everything is new pretty much. That's kind of the way I like it. Like that's not the way it's gonna be from here on out because I've kind of picked my horses that I'm gonna ride, and I picked things that have longevity. Um, I have AR-15s that can be rebuilt for forever. I have a 1911 that can be rebuilt for forever. I have a SIG P320 that can be rebuilt for forever. My black powder revolver and car aren't going to get shot that much. Oh, my 22. I honestly don't think I've ever heard of a Savage Model 64 ever not working. Ooh. But that's, kind of where my head is at gun wise is sustainability, And a 1911 might seem like an odd choice, except for the fact that I built one from the ground up a couple of times. I can fix anything that goes wrong on this gun pretty much. And I dig it. And I'm kind of, like I said, I'm gonna have eventually. I'd like to have a set up of handguns on a nightstand or something that's black powder revolver, single action revolver, double action revolver, World War II era 1911, Star Wars blaster 1911, Beretta M9, and then have the Flex Raider on the end. I could get a 320 too, and maybe at some point I'll get another 320. It's one of those. There'll be plenty of them floating around, I think. The Billy Badass Flex Raider version, I don't think is going to be that common. It's pretty much why I bought that thing. Is I liked it from the get go. I like SIGs. I like PDWs. I like little submachine gunny things. It trips a lot of my triggers in one thing. And honestly, for the end of the world, a PDW is a pretty fucking handy thing to have. I think a couple of pistols, a PDW or two, and a couple of rifles that's good. My other PDW is my 22. And if you doubt its capabilities, it only has 10 round mags right now, but they are making 20 rounders for it. I need to get those soon. If you doubt its capabilities, 10 rounds of that thing to the face would not be fun. That's kind of how I envision that gun as a PDW. Is like you would pretty much empty it at one or two people. At least with 10 round mags. With 20 round mags, you might get a little bit more than that. I wouldn't rely on just one of those to stop somebody, though. Well, this has been kind of a repeat of a bunch of shit I've said about guns, so I hope someone enjoyed that. There's been new thoughts in here, too. The other thought that I've been having here lately is hunting rifle-wise, why not get a big-ass single shot? I don't know what I would get. You get maybe like a 45-70 or something like that. I don't know. That seems ridiculous. I need like $2,000 cash and a gun show. I just want to go have some fun. I don't even really want to keep anything. Like, I do need some stuff, like everything we've just talked about. And like I said, I'd like to take a good $300 and just go buy used knives, especially like used military knives. I'd like some of those in my collection. So, probably going to do that at some point. Although, fucking prices on knives at gun shows last time I was there were fucking outrageous. So, I kind of think that some of what's going on in the world, money wise, is going to bring people back into reality on what things actually are and are not worth. Because, like, right now, there are so many people in America just hoarding shit. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but honestly, I think a big one is no one trusts the government, and people want their money in something safe. And what's safer than physical assets? And what physical assets are actually worth money? If you go to like a storage auction and buy a storage auction locker, what are you hoping to find a locker full of? Guns and knives. That's what's actually worth money. I think coins are actually worth money. There's a list of shit. I should make a video on that, which is what is worth money in Ray Ray's opinion. Because that's a noteworthy thing. Like, what I think is worth money right now is shit that is going to help you in years to come or whatever. Basically, like, it's not that technology is worthless or whatever, but like the stuff that I value is shit like really good canned goods, gold coins, good knives, good whiskey, good guns, nice computers even. Like I have a MacBook I'm talking to you on. I I like this thing. I need to invest in keeping this old girl around. Like I've kind of treated this laptop like shit, and it's just come back for more. That's what happens when you buy good shit. And if you do that, like everything you buy is something that you never have to buy again. And if you did have to sell it, you'll get good money for it. I'm not saying you should go get a Louis Vuitton purse or whatever. Although I do like them. I want one. Need to find a boyfriend that can afford Louis Vuitton. I have been trying to date someone from Instagram, someone named Tony. We got to chit chatting back and forth, and you know, one thing leads to another, and someone says that they like, you know, someone's ass. You know, it happens. I'm excited. I don't know if he listens or not, but I could go for some romance right about now. I could go for romance and a shitload of guns and a cabin and like a sustainable garden slash I don't know what wherever cows grow, like a ranch, something I don't know. I want a food supply that's not reliant upon the U.S. government. I need a chef. Sadly, I think I am my chef, but I suck. I don't really suck. I don't want to cook. I make really good stuff when I do cook. Well, I'm really high and done talking about guns now, so I'm going to end this here. Thank you guys for watching.